So in 2025, the skies over Kyiv, they became a whole new kind of battlefield. We're about to break down the major attacks from that year, looking at the tactics, the targets, and the truly devastating impact of a dramatic escalation in Russia's air war. Let's dive in. Let's just start with a number. 430, what does that even represent? It's not the total for the year. It's not the number of buildings damaged. That is the number of drones launched in a single overwhelming attack wave against one city. And it's absolutely central to understanding the story of 2025. Because, you see, 2025 was the year Kyiv found itself under renewed and intensified fire. The scale and the complexity of the aerial assaults shifted dramatically, and it really marked a brand new phase in the conflict. So what the sources describe is an intensified campaign. Now, this wasn't just about launching more attacks. No, this was a strategic shift. The goal was to completely overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses through sheer volume and complexity, hitting civilian areas across the country all at the same time. This wasn't random. It was a deliberate, coordinated pattern designed to terrorize and demoralize. To really see how this strategy played out, let's take a look at the first key event that defined it, a massive, coordinated strike that happened back in April. All right, the date was April 24th, and on this night, Russia launched this incredibly complex multi-pronged assault. While Kyiv definitely bore the brunt of it, the attack actually spanned multiple regions, from Kharkiv all the way to Khmelnytsky, signaling a broad, synchronized operation. Now, what's really wild about this slide is just the sheer variety of the arsenal. We see a mix of cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, including North Korean Kan-23s, and attack drones. Look, launching this many different types of weapons all at once, that takes an insane level of coordination. And amidst the chaos of this huge military assault, what was one of the notable sites damaged right in the heart of Kyiv? The Central Wedding Palace, yeah. This slide just puts the whole nature of this campaign into such stark relief, doesn't it? A purely civilian landmark. The human cost, as you can see, was just severe. We're talking at least 13 people killed and over 90 injured. Reports confirmed it was one of the single deadliest strikes on the capital since the war first began. So, if the April attack showed a new level of complexity, well, the events in November showed a terrifying escalation in sheer scale. This was a barrage designed for one thing, to be completely overwhelming. So, over the course of 2 days, from November 13th to the 14th, Kyiv was subjected to a massive, sustained aerial assault that targeted nearly every single district of the city. Hey, remember that number from the beginning? Well, the November attack involved approximately 448 total weapons. Let that sink in. That breaks down to about 430 drones and 18 missiles, just a staggering volume aimed at a single city. And the targets? Well, once again, overwhelmingly civilian. High-rise apartment buildings, a school, a hospital, all of them hit, causing widespread damage and fires all across the city. And behind these statistics are real human tragedies. Reports confirmed by among the at least 6 civilians killed in this attack was a pregnant woman, which just underscores the devastating personal cost of these strikes. So when we put these two events side by side, a really clear and, frankly, a disturbing picture emerges of the escalating cost for the civilian population of Kyiv. The escalation is just undeniable when you compare them. The weapon count more than doubled, from over 215 in April to nearly 450 in November. And while the number of confirmed deaths was lower, the destructive potential had grown exponentially, with the targeting of civilian sites remaining at chilling constant. And this is the crucial point. Summarize right from the source material, these were not isolated incidents. They represent a continued pattern. This was a sustained, strategic offensive against the civilian population and infrastructure of Kyiv. Plain and simple. Unsurprisingly, attacks of this magnitude, so clearly aimed at civilian centers, prompted a pretty swift and unified response from the international community. From the ground, you had Ukrainian President Zelensky describing the April attack as one of the most complex and brazen, and he explicitly highlighted the targeting of civilian infrastructure as its defining feature. And that view was echoed all across the West. Leaders from the United States to France issued really strong condemnations, with figures like President Donald Trump and President Emmanuel Macron both calling for accountability. And then the international bodies, they framed it in legal terms.
Both the United Nations and the OSCE formally labeled the strikes as violations of international humanitarian law. And that really moves the conversation, right? It goes from a political dispute to a matter of the established rules of war.
Which leaves us with this final critical question. The events of 2025 in Kyiv, just as we've laid them out, really force us to consider when schools, hospitals, and even wedding palaces are deliberately struck, what truly defines the boundaries of modern conflict anymore?